Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your June 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Well, the big news in June for you is that there's a lot of energy in the ninth house with your fellow air sign Gemini. And one of the things that is occurring before even the month of June and before this recording is the entrance of Jupiter into the sign of Gemini. Jupiter has been in Taurus for the past year. It has been in your eighth house. Maybe some of you have received some kind of financial gain through an inheritance or other money that is shared resources or money that you didn't earn, perhaps from a gift or dividend, something like that. And also the other meanings of the eighth house, where expansion could have been in the form of metaphysical studies or anything to do with astrology, the tarot. So as the month of June begins, we have quite a crowded house in that ninth house already. So the sun is in Gemini, Jupiter is there, Venus is there, and then on the 3rd of the month, Mercury goes there. Wow, that's a lot going on in your ninth house. In astrology, the ninth house is a house ruled by Sagittarius. So the 8th and the ninth houses have in common this idea about God, but with the 8th house, it's more, I would say, abstract. It's more your own personal spiritual path, and it's more open-ended, is how I would put it, and esoteric. The ninth house to me is more like organized religion because it's a house of philosophy. It's the God house, but it's a house of philosophical structures. And you could call organized religion that if you wanted to, and it would be pretty accurate. So both of these houses deal with God. It's just in different ways. And there's also the element in the ninth house of different forms of expansion. So this is the house of long distance travel. With these planets there, it could very well be that something along those lines is going on, because Venus, your ruler, being in this ninth house, maybe you have started, and Mercury going there on the 3rd of the month, maybe you started talking to somebody from another country in a romantic way. It's possible that you are about to embark on a trip, because on the 6th of the month, you have a new moon here at 16 degrees of Gemini. And I've been noting in the other astro updates for this month that I've been doing is that this is a 6-6 portal. The number 6 connects with the planet Venus, your ruler, and Gemini is the lovers. Oh yeah, and you know what? Gemini, or the Lover's card, is number 6 in the tarot. I mean, it's numbered 6. It's actually the 7th card of the major arcana, but it's numbered 6, and it's the Lover's card, and it's ruled by, it's connected to Gemini. So it's possible that this is a romantic situation where you're going to visit somebody. Maybe you met somebody online, or you met them in your country right now, and now they're going back somewhere else, maybe to their home country, and you're going to go visit them there. Or, something to do with work, who knows? Mercury can be teaching or learning something, so when you couple it with long distance travel, it could be the person who maybe is a yoga teacher. I always use that example with the ninth house, since it has a connotation to spirituality. So spirituality plus travel to me is yoga teacher training, either as the student or the instructor. But anything, maybe it's a new belief system that you are adopting, a new spiritual path of some sort, religious path. On the 9th, Mars goes into Taurus. For you, this is that 8th house, where you also have Uranus and where Jupiter was residing. So Mars in the 8th house can be that there's something, it could be something that you're pursuing very avidly. The 8th house is the house of transformation. So you may be undertaking a vigorous kind of I don't know if I'd say a makeover, that sounds so shallow, but on an inner level, you could be doing this big time. And if you're not consciously doing shadow work, which is part of the 8th house, Libra, it may come out anyway. So let's just use the example of the yoga teacher training. Maybe you're also doing shamanic healing courses. And something comes up for you during that you had suppressed, that you had not acknowledged. That is your shadow. And I feel that Libra is one of those signs that may have, I was going to say like a bigger shadow than most people, but that's not entirely what I mean. I don't mean that you have more problems than other people. What I mean is that it can be more difficult for you to acknowledge your shadow, because Libra is a sign so attached to the need for harmony, the need for other people being happy, or at the very least, other people not being pissed off by you or thinking badly of you. And when Mars goes into this 8th house, you may, there might be some situation that has arisen that has convinced you that you have to make changes, that you can no longer operate the way that you have been. Now, remember that you had a lunar eclipse back in March. So it's possible that this is not something that happened yesterday. This could be something that happened a few months ago that gave you awareness about how you either don't honor yourself or are too wrapped up in the opinions other people have of you. You know, there's that saying, and I think it's primarily in the New Age community, what other people think of me is none of my business. And I say it sometimes, but I kind of I don't think it makes any sense, because if somebody is saying something about me, or even if they're just thinking it, to me it is my business, because it can be the impression that I'm giving people, unless I just don't give a damn. And I really don't personally, but that doesn't mean that I'm not interested in what other people think. On the other, I think one of the reasons that they use this phrase, though, is that some people are excessively concerned. And that's where it gets a bit much, and it can actually hold you back. So you may have had some kind of an incident occur where you are forced to deal with one of these similar themes, and now you're actively pursuing it because you know that nobody outside of you can truly do this. It's like something that you have to work on yourself. And you may be very enthusiastic because you're in this eclipse cycle, and another thing too is that solar eclipse in Aries was in your relationship sector, the house that you rule in astrology. So that may have factored into it, because You may be experiencing new things as it relates to relationships. And if you are involved in a relationship, you may really feel that sense of, oh my gosh, or even like dating, because Pluto is in your fifth house, even though it's retrograding now, is that you may think, wow, I can't believe that I thought these things about love. And, because Pluto can transform your ideas of love. However, it could be that, I mean, it's at a very early degree, like 1 degree. It's going to stay in Aquarius for 20 years. So it ain't going anywhere. And so be careful. This is why I think it's super important during this transit to vet people that you date, because you don't want a stalker, whatever the Pluto type of persona is, that's very obsessive and controlling. You don't want that type of person. And Pluto could even indicate that a Scorpio person comes into your life. But I just feel that, when you have that, and of course this is a general reading, so it's not going to enter everyone's fifth house at the same time. Depends on your degree of Pluto, Sun, and rising in 1 degree of Aquarius or wherever it's at. So suffice it to say, a lot of things are changing on that front, and therefore your love life is also being impacted with that new moon in the fifth house. And so then on the 17th, Venus and Mercury go into Cancer. And so now you're talking about your 10th house of career. And then 3 days later, we have the solstice, summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern. Power period in your career sector. Venus and Mercury there. Now the sun there. This can be very powerful for you. A lot of positive energy there with a couple of these transits. So career matters really come into the forefront. Venus in the 10th house can give you charm, and this can impress higher ups. 10th house are authority figures. So you can charm your way to the top. Well, that's the story of your life, really. Libra, you're ruled by Venus, so you can turn on the charm at will. Maybe you won't have to work so hard doing it, though. It probably comes pretty natural to you, naturally. On the 21st, the day after the solstice, we have a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. 4th house, home and family. Because it's at 1 degree, it might be your 3rd house. If it's your 3rd house, full moon here could be an incident with a sibling. Maybe you hear some news about a sibling. And, depending on other factors, could be terminating your contact with a sibling. Something could be ending with them. This is a house of teaching and learning, so you might be ending a school year. It certainly is June, so that wouldn't be so outlandish. And If the full moon is in your fourth house, this can be ending a place where you live. I often think of the new moon as the time when somebody may move into a new place, but that's not necessarily the case. And it can also be a spiritual download. I think it can be a spiritual download for either the third or the fourth house, because the third house is the house of the mind. So that can deal with past memories of the past. The fourth house is your past through your childhood, but the third house is your mind. So you may have you may remember something that triggers within you an understanding of something that has been an issue, maybe a problem for you in some way. So it could have a very healing effect. On the 29th, Saturn goes retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces. This is in your sixth house of work and service, which is service to others. This is your health. This is your daily routine. You may be easing up on a routine. Maybe this is more of a deep reflection time for you. But some of it is probably around the issue of what it is that you're doing, maybe for your living in the first place. And it really isn't anything to cry about. Sometimes people cry because they haven't encountered it before and they don't really know what to do about it. But this can be a time of internal discipline that doesn't involve the outer sixth house concerns, which can be diet, other health regimens. Because Saturn in the sixth house sometimes can be some kind of health limitation or obstacle that you have to kind of, it can bring something where you have to be really on point with your health, your diet, because if you have been overindulgent in the past, Saturn is asking you to pare down. In some cases, the person has to really get clean with their diet. That's more like Pluto, but what am I trying to say? Disciplined with their diet. And if they had some kind of more lax tendencies, they have to be really on point. Now, this is not going to be true for everybody, but that's just one possibility. So with Saturn retrograding in this house, and this also applies to your ambition, which Saturn can be, you may be releasing some of that ambition that you had exerted because you're not sure you're getting the results that you've been looking for. So it's, with all retrogrades, it's all about review. So that might be something. So you may see that things work-wise are a little bit less flowing. Maybe there feels like it's harder to do things. It takes more effort. But just understand that this is temporary. If you feel thwarted a lot, frustrated, it's just temporary. So this is to help you to really get clear on what it is that you're working so hard for. When people have Saturn in the sixth house, chances are they might work longer hours, be more serious about the services that they're offering. And that's great, but it doesn't mean that it's going to pan out and that it's going to be something that you're satisfied with. So these periods of review that come up are helpful in making sure that the energy that you're exerting is going to in the right direction. Okay, Libra, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.